guest is Safder Raza, and he's from Houston, Texas, and he's calling in today, traveling up in Maryland. Now, Safder, why don't you share with folks? I happen to know why you're up there, but you're actually up there looking for more clients now, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, I have a prospective client who I came to meet here, and I'm going to be here until Friday, and I will be back in Houston either Friday evening or first thing Saturday morning.
Well, so was this a referral, or how did you find out about somebody up there in Maryland?
Yeah, it is a referral. So one of my existing clients, she is very happy with me, with my billing, and so she referred me to one of her friends, and that's where I came here to do whatever I need to do to make sure I get his billing ASAP, because he has some serious problems going on with his current billing company.
Oh, I see. He was outsourcing already. This doctor was, and they're having problems, and so they just wanted to talk to somebody else, and you were referred by another doctor.
Yep.
All right. Well, so I'm going to tell people kind of a general story, and you can fill in some details there if you want to, Safder. But basically, Safder, you came through our training class back in 2009. Is that right? January?
Yes.
Yeah. So the start of 2009, here it is, 7 years later, and for a period of time there, did I understand, Safder, that you were you had a full-time job at the time you came through the training?
So Patrick, the way things worked out with me, when I came to the class and I went through the training and everything, I knew that I wanted to do this. But unfortunately, my financial situation was not in a position for me to do this full time, and I was just trying to do this part time. And I tried very hard. It didn't work out, and my situation at that time didn't allow me to do that. So I had to take a step back, and I waited for a few, months and years, and then I decided, okay, why don't we? My wife was working, and then I said, okay, why don't you keep on working and let me go and find clients? And that's how we restarted the business. And I just went back, logged into the ABS support system, looked into it, and I just followed the steps, and things worked out the second time.
So in other words, you've done actually, Safder, believe it or not, there's lots of folks over the years who've done something similar. They came through training, maybe something came up in their life, they had a daughter that was getting married, or they had to take a vacation or something, and they just kind of set it aside, and they put the business on the shelf, so to speak. So you're saying that basically because of your financial situation, you were working at the time, and you had to just basically, did you lose that job at some point, and instead of looking for another job, just decided to get this business up and running full time?
No, I actually quit the job. I said, once we were stable, we were able to support ourselves. So I decided, okay, this is the time I want to rethink and restart this business, and let me try it this time. And the second time when I started, I actually started very hard and very seriously. I was working, religiously towards this business. I knew that I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of time until I find my first client. And I knew that once I find my client and I do the work what I'm supposed to do, it's going to be much easier. And that's what happened.
I gotcha. Well, we've already got a question coming in here, so I'm just going to open this up today, folks. This is your chance to actually ask questions of Safder. Here's a real person who's done the due diligence that you've done 7 years ago. He looked into the business, he came through the training, and now he's got a very successful medical billing, medical revenue management practice. And so this is your chance to ask him questions. So I'm going to start with this one, Safder. This is from Umar. Umar says, he says, when did you start? Which you basically said you went through the training in 2009, but when did you actually start the business and go out there and start doing some marketing?
I think it was somewhere around end of 2012.
2012, okay. So
yeah.
4 years ago. All right, and he says, well, how many clients do you have now? So give us a feel for where you're at in your business at this point.
Right now, with my 2 new clients, I have almost about 15 clients.
Oh, well, that's fantastic, Safder. Of course, I think you just contacted me a month or so ago and let me know that. And of course, we don't get reports from all of our licensees, from all of our different partners that they're using, some of the technology that people are using, because you got your own business, you can do whatever you want to, right? So it was amazing when I heard from you, because I thought, well, I hadn't heard a thing from Safder, and I knew that support, of course, is probably going to been there for you if you needed support. But wow, when I heard that, I was just blown away that out of the blue, all of a sudden here you've got this booming business. I'm very proud of what you've done, Safder.
Yeah, it was all my hard work, Patrick, and I always tell this to anyone I meet, whether they are doing medical billing or any other business. You need to put in time. No business is going to get you money. You deserve it. You have to work hard towards it. It's not like you just go there, get the training, and you expect the clients to come to you. It's not going to happen. You need to follow the footsteps. It's a proven system. ABS is a proven system. You just follow what they say. And I don't see a reason why anyone else cannot succeed with this when I succeeded.
Well, that's very humble of you to say that, because you might be a terrific salesperson. We don't really know what your background was. Can you give us a feel for that?
Yeah. So I was into real estate and mortgages before I started my career in this industry. So the market crashed in 2006. The real estate market was completely down, and I was looking for something different. And then I came across you guys, and I knew that this industry, healthcare, is always going to be there, and they need this. Someone needs to take care of doctors' bills. So that's where it motivated me to, join hands with you guys. I didn't want it to start by myself. I know I can go to a college, get my whatever course done for medical billing, but I need a plan. I need something which will make me understand where to start, how to approach a doctor, what needs to be done, what's my next step. So that's what helped me understand with ABS system.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we tell people we have lifetime support, meaning when you come through. Now, we might not have been offering that. In fact, Safder, when you came through, I think maybe we still had like 2 years support or something like that. But like you said, when you went to the website, we still let you get in there, didn't we?
Yeah, actually, I think you offered me a lifetime support.
Oh, were we offering it back then? Okay, I forget when we introduced that. But
it was there.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, it's always going to be there. When people get into this business, I tell them, look, doesn't matter how long it takes you to get your first client. We're going to work with you and do whatever we can to support you until you do get that business up and running. Mm-hmm. Now, Umar also, part of his question, Safder, was what is the best marketing method that works for you?
Best marketing method, what works for me?
Yeah, just do networking of some kind, your warm market, or of course right now you're probably just getting mostly referrals.
When I started, I did networking, and then also I have went to a lot of trade shows.
Yeah, trade shows.
Trade shows with the local medical associations in the city I used to live in, and then once I had my clients and I had enough revenue coming in, I don't have to do that anymore, but I have other ways of marketing. I advertise my business in different medical journals, in different medical magazines, and there are many other ways I do it. But I would say most of my clients I'm adding is referral. It's 100% referral. So once you have happy clients, they will refer you. They will put you in front of other doctors.
Yeah. So right now you're saying it's 100% referral, but you did advertise even in some different magazines. See, now that's a good point, Safder. That's not one of the things that we actually teach in our workshop. We teach about a dozen different ways to go out and get clients. That's not one of them, only because...
I actually do that right now. I still market myself. It's not like I'm not doing any marketing right now. I still want my name to be there. I want my business name to be out there. So anywhere I go, any medical offices, any building close to, I always go inside. I still drop down the card. I still drop down my brochure. I say, hey, you know what? I know you don't need me now, but keep it on. Just keep this information. If you need anything, you can call me.
That's a good way to look at it, Safder. Always be marketing, right? ABM.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So I think we answered Umar's question. Here's Hussam says, how many clients did you have by the end of your first year? So when you started marketing about 1 year later, had you gotten one or two clients, or how many?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it was about 4 clients.
Okay. I know people ask that question, Safder, because they're probably wondering how many clients they need, to maybe replace their current income or at least make a decent living at this business. With 4 clients, was that something that would have provided you a decent income?
Uh, to be very honest with you, I was fortunate enough. My second client actually brought me enough income where my wife had to quit her full-time job, and we started as a family business. So with our second client, we were able to pay our bills, and we don't have to go and work for anyone. Third, fourth client, we actually have to hire and help. Someone started working for us.
Well, that's a good place to be after just 2 clients. I tell people all the time, that the return on investment in this business can be very quickly. But two, that's terrific, Safter. And so that even allowed your wife to quit her job, huh?
Yep. Actually, once we started making good money, I don't see a reason where she has to go and work for anyone. And that's why I said, okay, why don't we concentrate? And she actually is the backbone of my office. So she takes care of all the processing and everything, make sure, all the work is done correctly. She trains the employees, new employees, and that kind of stuff. I'm the front end person. I'm always out, running out to get the new business, make sure if there is any issue with any client, I'm always there. So that's how we work. We work like a team.
Now, your wife's name is Huma, is that right?
Yes.
And she didn't come to the training, did she?
No, actually, you know what? You remember when I came there, either I can come or she can come because one of us have to work to pay the bills.
Right. I remember, yeah. In fact, I have a picture, I think, of you. We didn't hold up the certificate, so I'm not sure. But Marilyn was one of our trainers back then.
Yep.
Uh-huh. And me and Eric Auger are in this picture with you. I'll send this to you. You probably don't remember this, but it was, well, like you said, 7 years ago.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, all right, so let's see. Deanna, I think we answered your question, was what marketing method or avenues work best for you? And I think Safder basically said you got started with some networking, and then the referrals kind of kicked in, and he did a few advertising in some journals, went to some meetings of the medical society in his area, and that's about all you did to get going.
Yes, that's what I started. When I started, actually, you remember, BNI is one of the networking groups you mentioned, and it really helped me.
Yeah, BNI, Business Networking International, is what Safder is referring to there, folks. And that's a great organization out there that we refer people to. Yes. Now here's a question from Barry. Barry, I'm not gonna answer this question specifically because he's asking about what kind of, with 15 clients, how much revenue are you bringing in, and how much profit and so forth. But Barry, he just said that after his second client, and he's got about, did you say 15 clients? Yeah. So after his second client, his wife was able to quit her job, and it provided a nice income for both of them. So we'll just leave it at that he's obviously doing very well at this point.
So just to answer him, Patrick, I have about 6 people working for me right now, and I'm looking for one more help because next week most likely I'll be signing up my first client in Florida.
Oh, you have clients in Florida as well, yeah.
No, actually next week is going to be my first client in Florida.
Oh, the first client. Okay. So do you have clients in other states? Give us a feel for that. Are they all in Texas?
No, we have clients in Virginia, Maryland, D.C. We have clients in Chicago. We have clients in Houston. So we have everywhere.
All right. Now explain to people who might not understand how that works, Safder. How did you get clients all over the country when we just teach you to go out and market locally?
So the way it worked is, so for example, I had a client in Maryland I was doing the billing for, and she had a family member who practices in Houston, and she's the one who referred me to the doctor.
Yeah.
and I took over the billing.
All right, and so you're able to do that because of our the cloud-based system, right? You're able to log into our iClaim system and just do the billing from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection.
As long as you have web-based access, as long as you're connected to the internet, that's all you need. There is no big overheads or anything. You can start from your home office. Right now, I have two offices, one in Maryland, one in Houston, but you don't need that. I have it because I need it. But you can start from your home, like that's what we did for the first 2 years.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that you can hire other people. Are all your people, are they contractors or true employees that work in an office somewhere?
So the team I have is the people who help us with the billing. They are our W-2 employees, and the people who help us with the sales to get in more clients, I kept them as a 1099 employee because I don't have to track their hours or anything. If they bring me business, they get paid.
Yeah. So you just do a contract with them, and that's what most of our licensees do, by the way. They just basically at the end of the year give them what is it? Just one form that they need to know what to file with the IRS.
Yep.
Yeah, the 1099, I think is what that's called. And so that just takes care of that. That's great. That's a good way to do it. And you can manage those people, I guess, just over the internet. You know what they're doing in our system because the system allows you to log in as well.
Right. And one thing, Patrick, if anyone is focused on what they really want and what they want to achieve in their life, they can do it. And I can tell one thing for sure. This business is something where you don't have to be there all the time. This is something I can do from anywhere. So we went for a vacation visiting our family in some other state. I just didn't want to mention the name. But we were able to go there and spend 2 weeks there, but we were working. It's not like we go there and we cannot work. The beauty about this business is you take your business with you.
Yeah, I mean, you literally can take a laptop, an iPad, I guess, just about any device that allows you to connect to the internet. Yeah.
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't realize, Safder, that some systems will force you to log in from a particular computer. Maybe it has some software on it. This is literally a cloud-based system which allows you to log in from anywhere, anytime. You could go to.
It's like logging into your email account. It's just as simple as logging into your email account to check how many emails you have received. So you just log into your email, you just log into the web-based system and start working. That's it. As simple as that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A good example. All right, here's one from Tim. Tim says, are you happy with the amount of clients that you have now, Safder, or do you still actively seek new business? And also, have you ever used sales reps?
That is a very good question, Tim. I thought when we got our 10th client, I thought that's it. I think I have my plate full. I'm not going to do any more marketing. That's it. But you know what? As you get the new clients, you start looking for more because you enjoy the work and you want to grow your business to the next level. So now, I already have a game plan for 2017. So my plan is I'm going to get at least 12 to 15 new clients in 2017, and I know I'm going to do that. Because all these years, once I got my few clients, we were more focusing towards the billing side of the business, and I was not looking at the growth. But now, starting 2016, we aggressively started growing our company to the next level. I don't see a reason why, when there is a demand in the industry, why not increase our clients and why not increase our revenue?
Well, and that's your choice. Some people, Safder, are happy, with a handful of clients. They get 4 or 5 clients. They're making, a decent income, and they don't need any more. I like the fact that you think big.
No, the way I look at it is, if I just want to keep myself busy, and the most important thing which I like is I like meeting new people. I like making friends, and I like helping people. With this business, I have learned one thing. I'm not only doing the billing for my clients, but I'm helping them. End of the day, they're happy. They make one quick phone call and say, thank you, Safder. That makes a huge difference in my life.
Yeah, that does make you feel good because you're actually helping doctors to remain in private practice. And that's important
That
nowadays,
is,
isn't it?
with all this healthcare changes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot going on out there right now, isn't there? Okay, so one of the things Tim mentioned there was sales reps. Have you ever hired a sales rep, or you are the guy that goes out and sells?
I was doing it by myself, but now, starting 2016, I have two people working for me.
Oh, you do? Okay, super, man. You are growing this thing, Safder. That's terrific. And as you know, Safder, and for the folks listening, we actually train in our workshop on how to find those sales reps and how to hire them and train them and how to pay them. And so basically, are you just paying your people? Are they just on some sort of a commission basis?
Yeah, so I followed your system to hire the people, and I, literally succeeded with that. But now, this year, I had a different game plan, and I'm still trying that, and hopefully it will work. So if it works, then I will definitely like to share it with you, and you can share it with the other licensees once this gets to that level. But so far so good. I can say that yes, it is working very well.
Well, that's great. Now, here's a question from Manohar. He says, what kind of issues do you encounter in the access and availability? In other words, I think what he's talking about is cloud-based systems. People have concerns about that, whether, do the servers go down? Does the internet go down? Have you faced any problems with it?
It's a very good question, and I really appreciate that question. So when we started, we had one high-speed internet at our home, and that was our home office too. But there was a snowstorm in Maryland, and our internet connection was gone. So we didn't have internet for 2 days. So that was the time when we realized, and we had a backup line available. So for any reason, one of the lines goes down, then we always have a backup line. But that is after you start your business and you have some few clients and you're very busy making money. You can always have a backup internet line. That's what I do. I always have AT&T and Comcast in my office.
Oh, okay. So you literally have two internet providers, yeah. And it's not that expensive. Once you get a business going like you got, that extra cost is not that much at all. But I've had people.
Believe me, it's worth spending that money.
What's that? I'm sorry. Say that again, yes, after.
It's really worth paying that extra money. Once you grow to that level, if you have enough clients, I think it's worth paying that extra money to keep yourself in peace of mind.
Yeah, I mean, what's $40, $50 a month to make sure that you have a connection? But you know what, Safder? I've actually had licensees tell me that if their internet service provider went down, they just hooked up to their cell phone. With a hotspot, you can turn on a hotspot on your cell phone. Now, it's a little slower, of course, but you can still continue working until your internet provider gets back up and running.
Yes, that is one way of doing it. But the way I showed to you, the option was to have a backup line. That worked out well for us. Yeah, but obviously, if you have an iPad or if you have a cell phone, yes, you can access the data. Yes.
Yeah, and it depends on the area that you're in. If you're in a real rural area somewhere, it might be that your internet goes down more often. I haven't had mine go down here in the area I'm in probably a year and a half. So it just depends on the area.
So to be very honest with you, we have these two lines in our office, but it was only one that happened, and I always have a backup plan. So that's where we got this backup line, but we never used it. It's always there. We are paying it, but we don't have to use it because, like you said, internet never goes down.
Yeah, so you just look at it like any other insurance you might buy for your home or your business. It's insurance, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
all right.
It's better to it's better to be safe than sorry. So that's what I believe.
All right, Chuck has got a question here for you. Chuck says, Safder, any specific medical clients that you target, surgeons or small-time doctors? He wants to know what kind of specialties or medical providers you go after.
So when I started, I was just following what you guys have trained. So I was going after chiropractors. Then as I got my first client, and then I started doing the billing, and then I was referred. And right now, at this point, everyone who needs my support, who needs my billing support, I am there for them. So it doesn't matter what kind of a doctor they are, we are there to help them.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And if you get a referral from one doctor to another doctor, it's usually the same specialty. But whatever it is, I tell people there's no client that is too small. You just take them on and you do what you can for them, because even a small doctor might have referrals for you to other doctors.
Actually, you know what? One of my primary care doctors, she referred me to a cardiologist. And the cardiologist, I started doing the billing 6 months down the road. He actually referred me to an allergist. So they refer you to anyone and everyone. Like I said, the most important thing, you have to focus on the follow-ups, how to follow up on a claim, how to make sure that money gets paid to the doctor. As long as the doctor is happy, they will refer you business.
Yeah, that's the key, keeping them happy. All right, Barry says, Safder, what are your biggest challenges that you face in the market and internally? What are some of the challenges you face in this business on a daily basis or on a regular basis?
So the challenges are when you go out and you meet the prospective client and, you want to get this business and you really don't get it, then you feel down. But you need to motivate yourself. You have to never let yourself down, and you should just keep on working. I believe in the principle, one of the principles, like every 10 no's, the 11th one is a yes, and that's how I succeeded. So I expect the first 10 people I go and meet in the market, they are going to turn me down, and the 11th one, I know I'm going to get them. And that's how I succeeded. Challenges are a lot. You have a lot of competition in the market, like any other business have a competition. This business house have a competition too. You have to explain them why you are better than the competition to get their business, to gain their trust.
Yeah, that's right. You have to have something that makes you stand out in the marketplace. And of course, with our ancillary services that we have available for licensees, we have some advantages. I'll put some of those on the screen here as we talk so people can see what we're talking about. If you folks haven't gone to our website, absystems.com, and seen all the different things you're able to offer, in addition to doing the billing for the doctor, you'll be surprised how many different things can make you stand out in the marketplace. Let's see,
I agree.
Deanna says, Safder, and this is something you and I talked about, but she's actually asked this question. She says, Safder, do you bill with other medical software that the doctors may already have in place?
So what she needs to understand, Patrick, is we are not selling a software. We have a software in place. If my provider doesn't have a good software, I can always advise them. But we are out there as a service company. We are there for them to help them doing the billing. My experience working with these doctors, you can always, once you gain the trust, once you get the foot in the door, you can tell them, hey doc, don't take me wrong, this software is not going to help you. If you switch over to my software, you can actually have better results. And they will, because they trust you more now. So, it all depends on who you're dealing with. But I don't see a reason why can't you work on the different software.
Yeah, I mean, they're not all that different. I mean, there are features that ours has, iClaim has, that maybe some others don't. But the point is that the doctor just wants his bills, he wants those, claims paid. And so if you have to go in and maybe it takes you a couple of days to learn their system, you just log in with their login. They'll give you a login to their cloud-based system if they have one. And if they don't, if they have a server-based system, can't you just connect through a virtual network of some sort, Safder? Do you do that for any of your doctors? Or
one of my clients, he is still using a server-based system, and we log into his system using a VPN. So we log into the system every day. We do our work. It's like they have a employee working from home. So instead of coming and using their space and working from their office, we work remotely.
Yeah, you're just logging in, like you said, through a virtual private network, a VPN, and that allows you to just use their system as if you're sitting right there at their computer, doesn't it?
Yep.
All
so
right,
that's what we do. And then one other thing you need to understand is a lot of the times I give this example to my clients. You said every software is very similar to each other. Like if you know how to drive a car, you can drive any car, any branded car or a regular car. The same thing with the software. As long as you know how to work, software really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Just about anybody could get in any automobile and drive it. Some of the buttons and switches might be in a little different places, but
Yep.
you can still figure it out pretty easily, can't you?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good illustration. All right, let's see. Chuck says, well, we talked about this earlier. Somebody else asked this question. I think he probably tacked this in before we got to it, but do you focus on any specific specialty of doctor? Which you said, basically you just work with any doctor that's out there that needs help.
I'm sorry, your voice was not clear.
Okay, well, it was a question we had already addressed, Safder, so I'm going to move on here to another one from Manohar says, what is the future of this business with the medical care groups processing the claims and the private practitioners joining these groups? You run into that, I guess, don't you, out there, Safder?
Yeah, so, this is not something new I have seen. This has been happening since many, many years, and this is going to happen. But you still have to find that doctors who still wants to do the business by themselves. They don't want to join a group, or they don't want to just be part of a hospital. So, you will find all kinds of doctors out there.
Yeah, there's about 1 million medical providers in the United States, and about half of those, or I think it's just under half, are still in private practice. So, 1,000 doctors out there that are waiting for you to help them. You just go find those in your community,
the best answer to this, Patrick, is you need to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's right. All right, let's see. Here's a question from Joanne. She says, how many people are allowed to attend the live training workshop in Dallas? Joanne, we have some seats available for spouses and partners, but you'd have to check with your ABS coach here at our office to see if any of those seats are available. Umar says, so do you go for the setup? Umar's asking, I think, the question, Safder, about setup fees. Do you do some sort of setup fee with the doctors when you get them going?
Yeah, it depends on the way I work, Patrick, is a little different. So it depends on client to client. When I go and I do the analysis with the practice, I see that, I have a potential of making a lot of money with this practice. I just absorb the cost. But, if I know that I'm not going to make a great deal of money here, then, I usually try to charge some kind of a setup fee for the time I'm putting in. It all depends on you, how you want to place it. But when you submit the proposal, it all depends on, you, if you really want to aggressively get this client, and do you think if the setup fee is going to be a big problem? So that all depends on, analysis you do with the client.
Yeah, I mean, once you've done the analysis that we teach you to go through, you'll know, won't you, whether or not that's a potential of making, if you can make $40,000 a year off of that client, you might waive your setup fee. But in some cases, if it's a smaller doctor, maybe you need to get a setup fee to kind of cover some of your costs to get them up and running.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Barry says, what challenges do you face having clients in other states?
There is no challenge except I have to travel once in a while if there is any issue. Usually I have never faced any challenges because most of the time we can always log in remotely and we can resolve most of the issues. The only time I have faced a challenge is there was a big time shutdown in one of my clients' office building, and they didn't have this backup internet, which I always suggested them, and they were not able to access the scheduler, and they were running crazy. So I have to go there, calm them down, but never happened to have any problem.
Yeah. And if you're making enough off of a particular client, then hey, if it costs you $300, $400, $500 to get out there and see them for a day, then that's just what you do to keep the client happy.
That's what it is. Yep.
I'm going to take a stab at this name. It's spelled W-A-J-I-H. Would you say Waji? Waji? Maybe. All right. So I'm going to take a stab that it's Waji, and forgive me if that's wrong. Says, would you please tell me how you charge the physicians for your fees?
So I don't want to give a particular fee here. The way I charge is once I do the analysis, I come up with a proposal where I can charge them anywhere in between 5 and 7%.
Yeah, that's a good range. I've had licensees charge, well, hopefully they don't charge less than five, but I had one time charge 4.5. He regretted doing that, but and then even up to 8 or 9% depends on the doctor again and how much you need to make off of that doctor. And our practice analysis that we teach will show you how to come up with that, folks.
Yeah, but
Let's
let me
see.
explain this to them, Patrick. I don't want them to take a wrong message here. The only time I will go as low as 5% is if the doctor collects more than 100,000. If not, then there is no way I can go offer them 5%.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you cut your own throat when you go down too low, don't you?
Yes, that is so true.
Let's see now. I'm jumping around here just a little bit here to get to some of the people who haven't asked a question. Here's one that says, Truck says, where do you get the list of private practice doctors? You're not really working from a list of any kind, but you could find most doctors locally just off of Google, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, I just go type in any specialty with the zip code, and I get hundreds of doctors there.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way to do it. And besides, we don't really teach people to just go by a list. We tell them how to do the networking and well, again, about 10 other ways to find clients that have nothing to do with lists at all. All right, let's see. Here's Chuck. Chuck says, do you need to learn medical coding? Oh, that's a great question.
Patrick, do you want me to reply to this, or are you going to reply?
Well, I've got a slide on the screen here that talks about our CodeWrite service. And Safder, I'm not even sure that was offered at the time you came through training, but why don't you address the fact that the codes nowadays in cloud-based systems are usually built into the system, and you don't really need to know. I mean, the doctors are supposed to give you the codes anyway, right? But if
No,
they don't know the codes,
just to tell you one thing, yes, CodeWrite, you had it when I came to the training. Yes, you do have it, and I do use them for rack audit purposes on a as needed basis. So if I go to a potential client and I see that they are having a very bad coding practices, I will always suggest them to go and do a rack audit, prepare for a rack audit just to make sure they are doing the coding right. But we don't have to. We as a biller, we don't have to get involved with the coding. Like Patrick, you just said, with EMRs, everything is in the system. It's built in. The doctor knows what is the code. They just check mark everything. You just make sure everything is done correctly, verify the claim, and submit it. That's it. So you don't do anything with the coding side of the business.
That's correct. Yeah, and people think, I guess, because they see courses and things at colleges where you can go learn to be a certified medical coder, that they have to know that, but that would only be if you were going to actually do the coding, I guess, for a hospital or something like that, or for a doctor. If you were going to go find a job, you'd need to get that certification maybe, but no, you don't need to know that. Okay, here's one from Jackie. Says, are you having more success in getting in the door with the doctor or the office manager?
It depends. It really depends on who you go and what kind of a practice you're going to. So most of my time, like half of my clients was meeting directly to a doctor because I have been referred by one of my existing clients to a prospective client. So I don't have to go and talk to the office manager. I just call the doctor. They set up a time. I go meet with them. It's pretty easy. But half of my clients were meeting with the practice manager. I can say 50-50, yes.
Yeah, so that's a good answer. I mean, really, it does depend on the situation, and of course, people are wondering, well, how do you possibly get to speak with a doctor, because they're very busy people, of course. But then we teach methods that get past that gatekeeper, if that's what you need, doctor, and get information into the doctor's hands that hopefully get you an appointment with that doctor.
I agree. That's what I did when I started, and I still do that when I am driving and I see a doctor's office building. I always have this material with me in my car. I just go in. It takes literally 15-20 minutes for me to go in there, just drop down my material and say, hey, you know what? I was in this area. I'm just dropping this information. If you need any help, give me a call. It doesn't harm you doing that. Yes.
That's right. All right, Manahar is still worried about the internet service provider issues. He says he knows about those, but he'd like to know about the cloud-based software availability from ABS and our technology providers. So I'm just going to address that, Safder. The iClaim EMRX system has a downtime of less than 0.2%. So and the only time we go down is when we need to do some updates. That's usually like at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning or something like that. But we let people know ahead of time. Yeah, and so there's just really no issues with that at all in today's world. Besides, we have redundant servers in two different electric grids in the United States, and so we've got it covered as far as having something go down. Okay, so. Let's see, somebody is asking here, Hassan says, other than the license cost, he's talking about our license fee, which right now is $24,990. I didn't know if you knew that, Safder, but yours was probably a little less back then. But he says, what's a good budget for setup of the business, including startup marketing and so forth? What would you suggest for somebody, not counting our license fee, to get their business up and running?
I would say anywhere in between 5,000 and like 7,000 should be more than enough to start your business.
Yeah, and that would be if you didn't have, even computer equipment and phones and things like that, I guess. I don't know of any licensees that spend more than a couple of thousand really on everything to get up and running. We have very few people actually even reorder.
No, the amount I said, Patrick, is for the year. So you have to budget out your marketing structure. If you have this amount in place, you can market aggressively and you can be in front of these providers again and again. If you have a limited budget, then you can still work, but it's going to be the growth is going to be slower than what you can actually if you have certain funds set aside for marketing.
Right. All right. Let's see. Wajid is asking, once you're a franchisee, it's actually not a franchise, but anyway, once you're a licensee, that's what we call our folks. Can you only work in the USA or can you work from overseas? I guess they could work from anywhere, couldn't they?
I can work from anywhere. Yes, I was in India recently. My background, I'm from India, so I was in India, and I was working all the time, and I was in India.
Yeah. Now, Richard has a question here that I basically put a slide up here that answers it. He's asking when's the next training after this one next week. And Richard, there may be a seat that came open for next week. Get back with your ABS coach, the person who sent you the email about this webinar, and ask him about that if you are interested in next week's training. Okay, let's see. Rick says, no, that's a little bit more involved. Rick, I'll address that here myself in just a second. Okay, and okay, here's a good question from Umar. He says, how much time does it take to do a complete setup for a new client? I guess it just depends on whether or not they have a system that you're going to continue using that they're now using, or whether you're setting them up on a brand new system, huh?
Yeah, that all depends. Like if they're changing the system with ABS system, the way it's going to work is it takes about 3 weeks to enroll with Medicare, but for private insurances, it takes less than like maybe 48 hours or so. You're up and running. You can start billing immediately.
Yeah. Now, here's somebody that just asked this question, so they may have got on late. Kwaku says, about how many clients do you have so far? Safder, you said 15 that you have so far, right?
Yeah, that is excluding the one I'm going to have next week.
So that'll be your 16th. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, Barry says, I know other medical billing companies that charge around 6 to 7% that do not offer the software as a solution for the doctors. They just use their existing infrastructure. But it seems with the ABS model, combining the technology partners like iClaim and CodeWrite, it seems to bring more value. So you should be able to charge more because you bring more value. Well, that's a question kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's right there. Yeah, we can offer much more than your typical medical billing company out there. Right, Barry?
So let me just explain this to him if he's listening to me. The thing is, the doctors are spending huge amount of money on the software. They don't like that. And if you go and give them a solution where you can take care of the billing and you're not charging any extra for the software, I think that's the way to go. That's where you differentiate yourself, and you can tell them that, hey, I bring value, more value to your business.
Yes, that's right. They want a one-stop solution. They want you to handle their entire revenue cycle, everything to do with the patients and just get the money in here. That's what they're really looking for. And some billing services don't offer that, of course. Now, there are some questions on here, folks, I'm seeing that are kind of questions about our opportunity, fees, royalties, and that kind of thing. I'm going to address all those when we let Safder go, which will be in just a minute here, Safder. Can you stay on here just another 5 minutes?
No, I can.
All right, let's see. I'm getting through these. Waji says, do you sign any contract with the physician practice? Do you have a contract of some kind that you use that we've provided for you, Safder?
Yes. So, like I said, I could have gone and I could have taken a medical billing course in a community college or any private online company who's offering me a medical billing course. But I'm very happy that I went with ABS. Even I started late with whatever I was supposed to do. I just have to go back and log in as a licensee and look into the support. And I was able to find each and everything what I needed to be where I am today.
Well, thank you, Safder. That actually addresses a question that Truck put on here. It said, why would a person choose to go with ABS with a $25,000 licensing fee versus just going to school and taking medical billing career for 2 years? Truck, the only reason you do that is because maybe you wanted to go get a job, and then you're out of the marketplace for 2 years. Think how much money you've lost if you can get clients. If you're going to start your own business, yes, you can start your own medical billing business without paying a license fee. To us, it's just why reinvent the wheel? We've been there and done it for 22 years, and we know how to get you up and running. And you'll be making money a whole lot faster than you would out there on your own, probably. That's just my opinion, of course. I'm kind of prejudiced. Let's see. Somebody's asking about the guarantee. I'm going to put that up on the screen here because somebody was asking about, can I just come, if I'm not a licensee, can I just come and get a feel for your training? Well, in a way you can, but to keep people from filling up those very scarce seats in that classroom, what we do is we ask people to do their due diligence on us, fund, that is, put down the money to come, and if for some reason you come to our training and at the end of the week you go, you know what, this is just not what I thought it was going to be, we'll give you every penny of your money back. I don't know of any other company that does that. Do you, Safder? That's pretty unique out there.
No, I don't think so. So it's pretty simple. You do your due diligence, which everyone does, and then you decide if you really want to go for the training. And I think once you go there, you will have all the resources to be a successful business person. It's very simple. That's what I feel. But again, it's up to each individual there.
Well, I can tell you that if somebody really tried to recreate the partners that we have with the technology partners, with all of our services, develop all the marketing materials, have all of the different training that's out there on our licensee support site, and the ability to pick up the phone and call us anytime for anything, that'd cost them a whole lot more than $25,000, I can assure you. Okay, let's see. Barry says, do you set up a 1-year contract with doctors, 2 years, or what is it, with your clients?
So it all depends on individual providers. I have a client I have a 5-year contract with, and then I have one client I have month-to-month contract. It all depends on who you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's right. And again, it's your business, folks. We teach you and we can provide you with an agreement. We tell people, look, you can make it yearly, renewable automatically if everything's fine with everybody. But you can also give doctors a 30-day out. If for some reason they're not happy, why would you want to, something? They can change anytime they want to. So you just say, look, if something's wrong, let me know. We'll work to solve that problem. And I've just never heard that to be a problem with people. If they're doing a good job,
Yeah, as long as you do the good job, I don't see a reason why they will quit you. That's so true.
That's right. Richard, there is no training in November. That's correct. As you can see there on the screen, the next one is in December. Okay. Well, Safder, I think that's all the questions that I've got here that I can see that are specific to some things that I think you could address as an existing licensee. Anything you want to leave people with today before you go?
One important thing I would like to share with every prospect there is, it's a great system. You have to believe in it, work hard, and I don't see a reason why you will not succeed with the system. If you think that you're going to spend whatever licensee fee you're paying, and if you go back and if you don't work, things are not going to happen. So you need to be ready to work and just follow the system to be successful.
All right. Well, Safder, thank you so much for calling in today. I really appreciate it. I know everybody on here got a lot out of being able to ask you questions today. We're always here, and we're here to support you no matter what. And let's get together next week and talk a little bit more about some things that you've got on the burner right now.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.